Hello, it is Friday, September 23rd, 2022. As talked about last week, we went to the Secrets of Syndication seminar in Dallas with the real estate guys. It was a fantastic event. Met a lot of really cool people, people doing some pretty amazing things with just investing in general, but syndications as far as people are still buying multifamily and apartment buildings. We don't really think that. I can't imagine that's really going to stop. I don't think that the returns are as good as they were. Anybody who bought real estate in the last 10 years is, that's really all you had to do is just buy it and watch the appreciation go up. But there's still plenty of opportunity. What I thought was really cool was the things that the people are doing outside of your typical apartment building multifamily, car washes, ATMs, and so on. I just thought it was really cool to see that. I see he's got another one coming up in March. These are actually the same speakers that were there last time, all really good in what they do. They talked. There was a lot of talk about the 401k and how to invest money in your retirement account and so on. Tom Wheelwright, of course, who we are clients of, was there with Wealth Ability. He's always really got some good good insight. So in general, it was a really good time, and I highly recommend you follow the real estate guys. To the markets, wow, it has been obviously really crazy with the Fed raising the rates to 0.75 points, and just their hawkish behavior. It's obviously has sent the stock market down into a little spiral. We the S&P is trading at below 3,700. Pretty much everything's down, right? So the only thing that's not down is you look at the VIX and the volatility index because it's so volatile, but of course the dollar is just ripping up and continues to do so. It's approaching 113, which is obviously at a high. Everything else is just on a downtrend, big time. We got Bitcoins, trading at 18,700 right now. So they're below 19,000. We've got crude oil futures down, like way down. Nat gas is relatively flat, but look at that big old candle, on the trade down. So it is just like I say, everything's down. Copper futures, down. Uranium down. A lot of the stuff's down, significant today. Probably not too unexpected. We'll just have to see what happens next week. Wheat, all the wheat, corn, the beans are all the same thing. So it's kind of the same old story. 10-year futures down, 10-year notes, the T bonds, the 2-year, the Nikkei, it's just all down. So, at this point, everything's completely bearish. We're going to see what happens and take advantage of the opportunity on the other side for sure. Some of the other activities that happened this week. Of course, we listen to Macro Voices. We listen to Macro Voices every week. Eric Townsend and Patrick Saraza. Fantastic. These guys, a lot of the stuff does fly over our heads because it is it's very complicated. Some of it, macro is really good to see kind of what's going on, especially investing in the stock market and real estate with rates and inflation and so on. So you want to keep up on stuff. These guys were talking about nuclear renaissance solving the energy problem. So a lot of this was a little more complicated than some. I would have to listen to it again, but they just talked about. The energy crisis is something that obviously everybody kind of needs to really pay attention to, especially if you're going to invest. Or if you live in Europe, for example. But Macro Voices was a good listen to this week. I listened to George Gammon this week. So George has a little eye problem going on. And George's a great guy. He's got his eye problem going on. He lives, he's in Miami in a hotel doing these Q&As for everybody. If you're not listening to George, you really need to. He's got a free. We're in his paid membership, but which is here it is, Rebel Capitalist Pro right here. But he's got a free. He does a free hour-long thing, once a week for people, and he's just struggling with his eye. But he's just a really good dude, and he's smart as hell. So we listen to him. It's not just every week. Or just weekly. It's but every day I'm diving into something in his thing. He's got Lynn Alden in there and Chris McIntosh, who actually manages some of my money, and he's just really good. But he's got this guy here. I went back to, because he hasn't been posting as much, so I went back to some of his earlier YouTube videos, and the Uneducated Economist. It was actually episode 001. I highly recommend you listen to it. I don't have too much time everybody has. You can listen to all this stuff all day long like I do. But this was a really good interview. These guys are really smart dudes. So I have them in the show notes for you guys to check out. Anyway, moving on here, we've got and actually what this did was it did spur, of course, me to my new obsession is E. Edward Griffin and the Creature of Jekyll Island. Talks about the banks. I keep talking about this. I didn't know about it, and once I learned about it, the fact that the banks are really an extension of the government, and they have their own little cartel, and how they created the Fed back in 1913 on Jekyll, or stemming from a meeting that they had in 1910 on Jekyll Island in Georgia, is absolutely fascinating. And when and it can really piss you off, actually, like it does me, but trying to figure out what we're going to do about this. I don't know if we'll do anything about it on the global side with Congress, other than us talking about it as people. But on a personal side, we're going to have to, we have to be aware of the fact of what the banks do. I mean, the banks just can make money out of thin air. They can create money out of thin air and only have to keep 10%. If they loan $1 million, if I go get a loan from one of these big banks of $1 million, they only have to keep $100,000 in reserve. So 900,000 of it is just for one, the whole million was created out of thin air, but the 900,000 can just be loaned over and over and over again. And when they collapse, we have to pay for it. So what G. Edward Griffin did in Jekyll Island was he went through the whole history of it. It's a 20-hour audio book, but he goes through the whole history of a lot of the things that we wouldn't know, and he categorizes all the bailouts that we've had to pay for as taxpayers. And it's just absolutely unbelievable. But this video, Who Owns the Fed? It's a short video, and then you can keep going and going on. But this is one I listened to this week that was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable, the stuff that's happening. So speaking of that, I'm a real big fan of Ken McElroy's and Danelle, actually. She's awesome. And they had a YouTube video this week with, let's see if I can find here. Yeah, here it is with with actually their loan guy. Guys, I guess he's the guy who does the real estate loans. Matt Roxette of Cross Country Mortgage, and they kind of explained and talked a little more when the Fed raises the rates 0.75. How does that affect mortgage rates? Well, mortgage rates is more tied into the 10-year Treasury, but they obviously correlate. I think the banks are going to take advantage of the Fed hikes and so on. But the Fed hikes are directly tied into the car loans type thing, the student loans and so on. So, but it was a good YouTube video, and I highly recommend that you watch it. That's what we got it on here for you. I started dealing or reaching out to Advanta on IRA, which from a recommendation from a friend, one of my groups, and they have a lot of good information. All these guys have a lot of the good same information. What you got to watch out for is some of them are if they're a bigger firm and are sending salespeople at you and won't talk to you, or you have to schedule a call that's 2 months out to talk to you, that's a big red flag for me. These people got on the phone with me, got somebody, our situation is a little complicated, and I'm asking complicated questions. So I wanted to talk to somebody who knew what they were doing. And I did talk to somebody who knew what they were doing, and Corey, and he sent me some really good information. One of them was this webinar, which of course you can find on YouTube. But if you're into the Roths or the mega Roths, and you want to invest more in the Roth, which I highly recommend you do. I can't recommend or give advice to anybody. I'm not capable of it, nor can I. But if you get it if you put some of your money in the Roth and grow it tax free as opposed to tax deferred, that's what you want to do. So this was a really good webinar, and I highly recommend that you check it out. We do track a lot of things we're tracking on the stock market, with energy and commodities and so on. But if you have not gone to macro trends, it's free. You can type in most tickers that you want. We're just having to be tracking copper, and this is the 45-year history of the historical chart of copper, just to kind of see what it's doing. It gives you a good idea of where it's been and what it's going to do. And then, of course, if you're following the macro space, you can have a better idea, because the one thing that I believe, and the people that I'm hanging out with, that I'm learning from and researching from and talking to, is there's going to be a big buying opportunity that's going to come. We just have no idea when, right? We just have no idea when it's going to happen, but when it happens, we want to be completely positioned for that. Just remember that none of this is advice. This is all education or just research, and opinions and so on, and that we just want to really try to help you out. For more information, go to investorsnewschannel.com and sign up for our webinar. Otherwise, we'll have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday.